Hello there, Uncle with TacticalGamer.com, here with you in a second tutorial in the series using the Blufor template mission in order to create your first mission. In the last tutorial, we got everything set up, got the template, the player template, into a mission that we created with our own mission name, our own description. We set up the premise. It's going to be a 6-player mission, 6 players taking out 2 high-value targets. So we didn't set up the mission, we just set up that premise. So here it is in my editor here. We're going to get into it and actually create the mission now. When I get into the editor here, you can see it as we left it off with our 6 players. We got an ammo box which is working with the Arsenal script, and we've got a game master module that we're using while we're editing the mission. This is going to become very important over the very next steps. What we want to do first of all is create the bare bones of the mission. The mission is to kill 2 HVT targets. I want only 2 targets on the entire mission, first of all, and I want to test that my end conditions, fire, the mission completes, that all the logic of the mission works first before I go populating it with enemies and all of the atmospheric stuff and all that kind of thing. I just want to make the bare bones work. So let's create an objective. I've got the unit selection tool selected, double click, and let's say we're going to fight the independent side. First high value target would be a man. Let's make him an officer, and I'll name him HVT officer. Give him a rank of lieutenant and pop up his skill. Okay, I'm going to leave it nice and close to the mission starting area because I want to be able to test that my scenario is going to work. Let's choose another target, and this one may not be just an officer. So double click, I'm going to choose an empty vehicle. Let's choose an armored vehicle, something that they might have, Gorgon. So we'll call this the HVT Gorgon. Now, even though this doesn't have AI, you can check whether or not a vehicle is alive or not. Just like you can check whether or not an AI-controlled unit is alive or not. You can check whether or not an ammo box is alive or not. Backpacks, that sort of thing, are not handled the same way. A backpack cannot be alive or dead. Anywho, these are going to be our 2 targets. And now I'm just going to hit a save here. Let's create, first of all, a trigger that is going to know whether or not this guy is alive. Okay. Actually, I'm going to start right from the start. I'm going to give you guys the whole logical progression. I'm going to create a variable that's going to determine whether these 2 things are alive or not, and I'm going to call it the mission status. The mission status is going to be set to an in progress in first. When we start the mission, I'm just making this up. Mission status equals in progress. Okay? And then when we complete these 2 objectives, a trigger is going to fire and say that mission status equals completed. When that happens, once all the connected client computers are going to be waiting, and as soon as they get told that mission status equals completed, they're going to fire off the end of the mission and go to the debriefing screen and end the mission. So the first part of it, setting up the mission status as being in progress and actually changing it to completed, only needs to be done on one computer. So I'm only going to have the server do that. And how I control this is I select the trigger selection tool. I'm going to create a trigger, and I'm going to have this fire off the beginning of the mission. The trigger area is only going to be 2 meters. It's going to be activated whenever OP4 is not present. It's going to happen 5 seconds into the mission, and it's going to be the condition this. Okay, all I'm saying is that it's basically an if-then statement. If this is true, then we're going to do that. And this is if op4 is not present in this 2-meter circle 5 seconds after the mission starts. So I do want this to be part of the condition. So condition is this, and is server. So the only computer in the network of computers connected to this game that is going to worry about this is the server. Okay, so if this is the server and all these things are true, then mission status equals in progress. And then I'm going to broadcast the value of my variable mission status to every connected client. I do that by calling public variable Okay, so what this will do is not only tell every connected client that mission status is now in progress, but if somebody joins 5 minutes later into the mission, they'll automatically be told by the server, hey, here's some of the public variables we're tracking, and this one is currently set to in progress, so that everything will work accordingly for join in progress players. Anyway, I could even add an extra message in here that would run on the server, but it would only run on the server. Never mind. Next trigger is going to be, let's say I want a notification that this officer is dead. Okay, so I'm going to create a trigger. I'm going to put an area of, let's say, 500 meters. Okay, and it's going to be, I'm not going to worry about this part of it, but on activation it's going to say hint the high value target officer has been eliminated. Good work. And this is going to bring up that little black box in the top right of the screen and give you a message, a notification. Because this is going to run on all connected clients, this trigger is just going to be sitting there waiting to fire, and then it's going to give that hint to every connected client. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, in order to connect this trigger to this guy, there's a few ways to do it. I'm going to show you one other one. Select the group selection tool, and then I left click and drag to group this trigger to that unit. Now when I go into the trigger again, I've got new options. The activation is now set to that particular vehicle. The vehicle is the officer unit in the editor. So when this vehicle is not present and it only needs to fire once, then display this hint. And that's all I need to do right now, is I just want the hint to display. And if I zoom out, you can see that this trigger has an area of 500 meters. So if this guy were to run out of the area and you've been searching this area for him and he just runs away, we'll consider that mission complete because he's no longer in this area. So he will, and this trigger will fire saying that he's been eliminated. So you can control what you want out of your missions based on that. I could, instead of linking this to him, just say the condition is not alive, and the exclamation mark means not alive HVT officer. Then it wouldn't matter where he runs to. You would have to kill him even if you ran to the far end of the island. But I don't want that for this mission, so I'm just going to leave it like this. Now, we need one more trigger to fire when both of these things are dead to trigger the end of the mission, right? And I'm going to set another trigger to say that mission status is completed. Okay, so another trigger, here we go. The radius is going to be 0, and the condition is just going to be is server and not alive HVT officer and not alive HVT Gorgon. I don't need a semicolon at the end of a condition. On activation, mission status equals completed. And then broadcast that value to everyone. Why you need to put the variable in quotations is something I don't know, but that's just how this works. This is a variable. I set its value within quotation marks because it's a string, and then I declare this variable as public. I don't know why it has to be quotes, but it does. Okay, so that will happen, and because I don't have this in the condition, none of this stuff over here matters whatsoever. It's just going to wait for, if this is the server and this is true, then change the value of this variable and send it to every connected client. Okay, so these are two triggers that fire only on the server. Now the last trigger I'm going to set is going to actually end the mission, and I'm going to do it in two stages and two triggers. So these two triggers over here we're going to run on just the client, and this one again doesn't need any area. Okay, the condition on this one is mission completed, or sorry, status is equal to, so I need two equal signs, completed. And when that happens, I want it to play some music. And I want it to, normally I was able to set a text message that would show up in the middle of the screen, but something has happened, and it's now I can only select video effects here. So we'll just choose a video effect just to help indicate visually that the mission is ending, and this will fire immediately and do nothing else. So we're going to get some music, we're going to get a video effect, and then I want 10 seconds later the mission to actually end. So I'm going to hold my cursor over top of this trigger, press Control C and then Control V, and then I am just going to get into this trigger and turn off the effects that I put on this one. No music, no text, no video effect. I want this to fire 10 seconds later, so I just change all of these to 10. And then I'm going to make this end trigger. Oh, here we go, end 1. And I'm going to, in this, I'm just going to say force end, just to make sure that if it misses setting this as an end condition, that it's actually going to force it to happen. I've had missions not end, so I started putting this in there just to make sure that every connected client will actually end the mission. Nothing worse than when one guy's standing around going, "What are you guys doing?" and they're selecting the next mission or whatever. Or they've seen the debriefing screen and one guy's still running around wondering why everybody is just standing there. Okay. That should work. Everything looks good. Let's give it a test, because I want to make sure that this will actually run the way I want before I go creating the rest of the mission. I'll get into a preview. I can select a unit. If I was to populate the rest of the mission and then have to fight through all these enemies and all of that, I'm just creating extra things that could go wrong instead of just worrying about the actual nuts and bolts of the bare bones of the mission. Okay, so there's the enemy Gorgon there, and I'm just going to get myself out of the way here because I'm going to use some other tools in order to check it. So if I press Y and get into my Zeus module, fly my camera over here, and there's my enemy units. Okay, I might put down an explosive specialist here, an AT guy. Let's use an AT guy. Put him down here. These are the same side, so they don't think that he's a threat, and I'll take remote control. Alright, now if I kill this officer, I should get a notification. There we go. The HVT officer has been eliminated. Good work. Excellent so far. Let's bring up the Titan, take care of the Gorgon, and see what's going to happen. Alright, so that worked. Excellent stuff. Now I can get back into my editor. I know that the bare bones are going to work. Now it's very simple. Alright, now I can just grab a hold of these objects with these triggers and everything, pull them off to the side. Alright, let's go throw them over here in Telos, let's say. Alright. Now I can get all fancy about it. Get this Gorgon, put him over here somewhere, take my enemy officer, choose some waypoints, give him some waypoints. I can give waypoints that will go into buildings, and I just keep chaining them. I can give him time frames. So he'll wait at that waypoint for 11 seconds minimum, maximum of 30 seconds, and the midpoint in that range would be 16. So I can kind of control how long he might wait at a particular waypoint. Alright, I can make him go into another building. When I hold my cursor over the building and it pops up, then I know that there's positions that I could set him to. Right? So he might wait 60 seconds, but he's going to be closer to the lower half of that range. But now and then, he'll wait there a full 60 seconds. And I'm just choosing this all at random. He won't even wait there at all. I can make this one random, so I could place it randomly in a 60-meter radius. Because there's buildings you might not be able to get to the exact spot it picks, so I'm going to choose a completion radius of about 10 meters. And he'll wait there for 5 to 20 seconds. And then he'll move back to his start point and cycle all around. And just do that over and over again. So there's a lot of control and a lot of randomizing that you can do. 60 meters is pretty big. Maybe I'm going to bring this down to 30. I want him somewhere around the Gorgon. Alright. Now, let's fortify the Gorgon really quickly. I'll select a unit, place down an independent static weapon, erase 50 cal, point him out the door, and there we go. And let's give another unit here. We'll give this to be a man. We'll make him an automatic rifleman. We'll get him pointing and looking at the Gorgon. And we'll ungroup them so that they don't necessarily react the same way. And we'll put maybe another group. If I've got the group selection tool, I can just simply throw down an independent group of infantry and throw down a 4-man team. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of, oh, it's an AA team, so I'm going to throw down another one I want a fire team. Okay. Get rid of the AT. And there we go. We'll give them a 3-man team. We'll give them a waypoint. Whoops. A waypoint. So I select the leader, click down, double click when I got the waypoint tool, and we'll give them a seek and destroy. And you should kind of patrol around that area. Alright, so basically I could really get trickier than that. I could get a fire team here. So I've placed a fire team off to the side, select a leader, create some waypoints, give it some randomization. Make them walk, make them feel that they're safe, and then just create a chain of the same type of thing very quickly. One more, so it's not just a back and forth type of patrol. And then finish it off with a cycle so that they'll just keep going around in that order. There we are. Now I can select all those waypoints in that group, put my cursor over one of them, press Control C to copy, and then over here just go Control V, and very quickly just start moving these guys around. I'm holding left shift down, and I can spin then the entire group. Let go of left shift. Okay, Control V again over here. Whoops, I deselected them somehow. So Control C and Control V. Now I could reverse the order, right, just by grabbing one of these waypoints. Do something like that, so that they all don't look like they're moving the exact same direction. Anyway, you get the gist. Let's put a team right around the objective. We'll get these guys and they'll move in right around this area. Select those two together. One more. And this one be an outer patrol around the town. Alright, save that up, and that should work. Let's get into a quick preview. We'll take a quick look in the editor. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. An easier way to even test this. Get back to the editor. One more thing. I had that editable objects in the Game Master module, so I'm going to take that over here. Whoops. Drag it. Come on. Drag him over here, nice and close to our objectives. Zoom in. Get him nice and close. Okay, where's our officer? I can't find the officer in the mess. That's his waypoint. So if I select the waypoint, you gotta get really careful to select the waypoint that's on a building already. There we go. So it should highlight my officer here somewhere. There he is. Okay, so I'm going to select him, use the synchronize tool, select on him, and then drag him to my editable objects. There he is. There. And this will make it so I can access these targets while I'm in the Zeus. Alright, use my unit selection tool and just bring this out of here so it's easy to see. Now, what this will do is different than the last time we previewed. Just another example of how to make debugging your mission nice and simple. So I just go into my Zeus camera here, Press M on my map. Zoom in over here. I'm going to press and hold my middle mouse button, which moves my camera. Press M to get out of my map, and you can see here we are. And in Zeus, I'm now tracking my 2 targets, and I can select them right here. You can see that if you're looking at the Gorgon on the map, when I select it, it becomes highlighted. So at this point, it's very easy just to take this enemy officer and where is he going here? He's outside the building. He's going to wait there and move along his patrol. These guys are patrolling around. Ooh, that static weapon. Look at him hiding there. Awesome. And there we go. We should have this patrol that's moving in from out of town too. They probably already got to the town. Yeah, they're already in and walking around. That must be those guys. Okay, so to test it, now I can just select him, set his health to 0, and hit OK. There we go. I've got the notification the HVT officer has been eliminated. Get into my Zeus, select my Gorgon, set his health to 0, hit OK. So there we go. This is Uncle from TacticalGamer.com, and can't wait to see your first mission. Next tutorial, we'll get into adding the sweetener, customizing with this debriefing menu that you see, or window that you see here, and there we go.